Deputy Chancellor, members of the University, graduates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, graduates, congratulations. This is an awesome day for you, and your parents and yourselves must be so proud. It's really a fantastic day. Secondly, I'm really honoured to be here, so thank you very much for inviting me. As university graduates, you have the ability to make a difference in organisations across the world at all levels and all sectors. You may play a role that is part of the organisation and part of the team, or you may actually lead the organisation and set the tone for that organisation and how it will behave. At the moment, about 70% of the ASX-listed 100 Australian companies, CEOs, are business or commerce graduates. IT entrepreneurs have come into their own over the years and are now growing billion-dollar companies, multinationals. As you've heard earlier, the world is rapidly changing. In 1996, which seems like an awful long time ago, and for the graduates possibly is, I graduated from my first degree. The world was very different. Only 35% women were in the workforce. Only 13 out of 100 people had a mobile phone, and I did have one. Not being obnoxious, but I worked at KFC and I needed one if I was going to get the jobs. Otherwise, you come home for an answering machine and hope that you get it and you don't. Websites weren't common, so you couldn't, jump onto What If and book something. You had to actually go to a travel agent. There was no social media. Thank you. Many of you would understand that one. And work from home just didn't really exist. This flexible work thing, not a thing. Now, since I've graduated all that time ago, massive technological, social changes, environmental changes have changed work practices, business models, disrupted industries, and changed. This year, female participation in the workforce reached 61%, and for men it's 71%. Now, this is something I'm trying to address personally within my own company. In 2011, after I'd worked for many organisations, I started up my company, Gemaker. And when I started it up, I went out and found people who I'd worked with before. I'd asked lots and lots of people who I'd worked with who were awesome, what were they doing now? And brought them into my company. Now, as it turned out, as a startup, you don't really have a lot of money, and so you can't just whack on like 3 or 4 full-time employees. And so those that were able to assist me and come into the company to start with were mainly women who didn't want to go back into the workforce full-time. And so what I was doing was bringing women back into the workforce, providing flexible work, which they all do from home, and it's meaningful and rewarding. I get a highly loyal team, great productivity, low overheads, and the ability to scale up and down for my clients' needs. So I'm actually showing that women can be in the workforce. They don't have to be in an office 9 to 5. In fact, men can be in the workforce too. I do actually employ men flexibly, and they quite enjoy that as well. It's just, I don't have as many breaking down my doors just at the moment, but perhaps after this speech. So I've demonstrated that this type of work model works, it is profitable, and people really enjoy it and feel empowered. To do it, you have to trust your employees, and you have to look at them as what they're providing in output, not how many hours they're sitting at the desk, possibly on their computer playing with Facebook. Now, as a graduate, you need to be resilient, adaptable, a team player with a can-do attitude to stand out from the crowd. Now, you're not going to want to hear this from me at graduation, but learning is a lifelong activity, which is actually really good for you. And it will help you to continue to develop as the rest of the world develops and you try and keep up along the way. Well, that's what I tell myself as I finished my degree, my honours, my master's, my MBA, now the company director's course. So it is tough to work full-time, have kids, and also study, but it is also worthwhile as you're changing and developing in your career and quite necessary. So stage 1, you're here. Some of you have gone to stage 2 already, and stage 3, PhDs as well. Now, I've learnt plenty of lessons since graduating, some of which I thought I would share with all of you. Firstly, do what you love. I love science. I will not shy away from that one. I love marketing, and I won't shy away from that either. And I also love complex problem solving. And so put the 3 together, and what I do each day is work with amazing innovators to work out how on earth I'm going to get what they've developed out into the marketplace, get people to understand it and take it up. So that's what gets me out of bed in the morning, and you need that because if you're going to work every day, you want to love it. Secondly, success is not about the money, the awards, the prestige, the promotions. It's about doing what you enjoy, working with people that you enjoy working with, being paid appropriately, and basically having a difference, having some impact and being able to change the world. Number 3, you've always got to have the downer. If you're rejected for a job or a promotion, and it is going to happen, right? We always get rejected from something at some point. Well, instead of wallowing in the self-pity, or you can for a little while, a tub of ice cream is always useful, or Nutella, think, this wasn't meant to be. And that's okay. Not every opportunity out there is the best thing for you, even if you think so at the time. What you think is there is something better out there that is what I'm going to do later. And every time I've had my disappointment, gotten back up and gone, right, what else is out there? And something else has always come along that has been better. So call it karma, call it whatever you like, but wallowing in the self-pity, no point. Not long term anyway. Even the most successful people have been rejected at some point. Walt Disney was fired because his boss felt he didn't have any imagination or good ideas. Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, went through a number of startups failing before he got Amazon up. And our successful foreign minister, Julie Bishop, fantastic as a foreign minister, didn't get the top job when she put a hat in the ring. So disappointments will happen. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means that one's not the opportunity at the moment. Last piece of advice on that. Number 4, put your hand up. Volunteer, grab opportunities. If we've ever not been in a particular space, we will go in and we will volunteer and we will learn how to do things and pick up new skills. That is much better than sitting around saying, geez, I'm unemployed. Now, each year, my senior leadership team and I sit around, not so much, but, in between, being busy. And what we do is we think, what is it that we're going to focus on for the year? What is it that's really important and something we should be doing more of for the company and ourselves that year? And this year, we all have families, and we're thinking about what's important to us and our families. And basically the future is, we want a secure, happy future for our children. And so one thing that's really hit home quite a fair bit lately is that climate change is real. I'm a scientist, right? I'm going to say it's real and I'm going to stick with that. And we're not doing enough to make an impact to fix it, really. And as the teenage girl Greta Thunberg from Finland bravely got up and said at the 2019 World Economic Forum, act as if your house is on fire, because frankly it is. Some people put their heads in the sand or rattle off any number of myths to dispel its existence, or say the emissions are too small in the world to matter, like our emissions are too small so it doesn't matter, like what can we do anyway? But if we all continue to do that, The impacts will affect you and they will affect your children. So imagine business, IT, imagine if we put Australia put climate change as the number one thing to fix, that we all worked on it to fix it. What could we achieve as a nation? Imagine if every organisation had it central to their mission. And imagine if personally you thought about it and what you could actually physically do yourself. As a graduate, you have the power, you have the skills to change the world for the better. You are voters, you are the most socially responsible and engaged generation so far, and you're able to help with the massive transition of industries that is required across our energy, our agriculture, water, transport, infrastructure, sectors to support a sustainable planet. If we're on the front foot, this is a massive opportunity for you and Australia to be involved with strategically growing these new companies, strategically growing new industries, which are global and improve the health of our planet. Follow your values and your convictions when you join new organisations and check that they align with yours. Do what you can professionally and personally to reduce your impact on the climate. And always remember to give back to your ecosystem. When you rise up through the ranks with your promotions or your awards, and you have a platform, use it for good, to raise others up, right injustices, and make a difference. Thank you.